Hey everyone, welcome to the Aircraft Global Market Update. It is Friday, October 13th, 2023, and we have an exciting episode for you today after taking 1 week off. If you like these videos, please like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share these as much as possible. As we mentioned in each video, we're trying to build a cooperative of owners and pilots to provide information so that we can get accurate information to you. So in the comments section, what are your aircraft? What are the dreams? What do you want to sell your aircraft for? What do you want to buy your aircraft for? Send us, email us purchase agreements so that we can hone the accuracy of our information and we can provide more transparency that is so needed in the aircraft sales market, because we certainly don't get it from anywhere at this point in time. There's a lot of special interest going on there. So give us the information that you can, and that way we can create an environment of transparency and information. Without further ado, let's take a look at the news and overall sentiment. A lot changed over the last week that we took off. Wow, seems like a different world that we're living in. Redfin CEO issues dire warning on U.S.'s rock bottom real estate market. And I can give a firsthand testimony here to the real estate market slowing down. In our area, we are seeing homes sit on the market, triple, quadruple. You know, homes that would have sold in 15 to 30 days are now sitting on the market 90, 120 days, and some even more. So it's crazy. Retail sales growth slows amid higher costs for consumers. And bear in mind, inflation is baked into there as well. So the fact that retail sales growth is slowing, yet we have inflationary prices to boot, that means we actually have probably a net reduction in retail sales. Most Fed officials expecting one more interest rate hike. Spoke to some realtors out in the Western United States yesterday. They think that mortgage rates are going to 10%. I don't know if I believe they're going that high, but I do believe we could get close. And I do think we probably have at least one more interest rate hike in the mix, because inflation is still rearing its ugly head. 8% mortgage rates are already here for some buyers. That was news just a short while ago. And like I said, we may be tipping close to 10%. Look at this, came out just a little over a week ago. Used jet and turboprop aircraft asking values begin descent. This is what we've been telling you all along, that this market is overvalued, that it's being artificially held high by sellers not wanting to reduce their prices, by maybe brokers creating that kind of ambition and need to acquire or make an immediate purchase. You know, brokers can be really good at making you think that you've got to have this deal and there's nothing else that's going to be available coming out there, or the aircraft of your dream is going to be sold to someone else. You know, they create that expediency in your heart. And so I think those have kept prices high, but in actuality, people aren't purchasing aircraft, and we're going to show you that in this video today. Industry confronts shortage of pilots. Every week we've got news articles about the shortage of pilots, and it's not getting any better. And why do we put this in these videos? Because, well, the pilots are the ones that acquire airplanes for the most part, and so less pilots or more pilots working for airlines and such. I mean, less pilots for the corporate market, less pilots for the personal market. Pilots retiring, hitting older age, boomers, same thing, retiring, hanging up their wings, all less pilots, all less owners to acquire future aircraft. And yet we're still producing more and more aircraft every year. So that is a supply and demand issue at its best. Rising interest rates mean deficits finally matter. Finally, people are starting to look at the government and the overspending, and the central banks are mentioning this as well. IMF recently just said that they're concerned about the United States' level of debt to GDP ratio. And so if the United States and our government starts tightening up its coin purse and starts spending less, well, the velocity of money is going to reduce even faster than it already is. And that is going to lead to price reductions in every market. It has to. And of course, now there is a war, and not just any war. I think this is going to go on for a while. I think that this has been a powder keg that has been simmering for too long. I'm amazed Israel took as long as they did to respond. I mean, those poor folks are just getting rained on every day, all day long by mortar rocket fire. And so they finally returned fire. And, you know, it's going to go on for a while, because this time I don't think they are going to let their enemy get away any longer with this kind of activity. So that is we're already seeing implications, and we're already seeing the domino effect of this falling into other nations. People are talking fuel prices and shortages. Iran was going to be boosting output. Not that anybody wants to acquire gas or fuel from Iran or crude oil, but that is a factor. Hezbollah is now talking about siding with Israel, with Hamas on the other side. And so all of this is just a big powder keg, and this is going to have major global implications for world markets and every type of market, from real estate to energy to aircraft as well, are going to be affected from this. U.S. pandemic savings drawdown is a mystery, New York Fed economists say. Well, I don't know why that's a mystery when you give people all kinds of money to spend, and they're not thinking about saving. They'll spend it, and then when you stop giving them money, they run out of money. I don't know what the mystery is there, but the point is, all the money the government threw at people during the pandemic is now dry. And so with less people spending money at businesses and corporations and mom and pops and small businesses, medium businesses and large businesses, that's less Cessnas, less Cirruses, less jets being sold to these business owners and corporations. All right, let's take a look at market values and inventory now. Take a look at that number on the bottom right-hand corner, 4,929. Every week I get to say this. This is the most aircraft I have ever seen in the decades of looking on controller at aircraft that I have seen for sale. The most aircraft I've ever seen for sale. And look at this. Since June, up. 4,400 to 500 to 600 to 700 to 800 to 4,929 aircraft. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a crash. This is a crash. Aircraft are not selling. You know, even during the great, people always say, oh, there's still stuff selling. Well, look, even during 1929, stocks were still traded. Even during 1929, people were still buying food and homes and vehicles and everything else, just in very small numbers. So as far as the aircraft market is concerned, again, this is my humble opinion. That's all these videos are, me reacting to controller and with my extensive history of acquiring and utilizing, operating, and of course, at some point selling aircraft. I have a really good idea of what an aircraft should cost. And that's what we've baked into these videos over the years of studying aircraft and watching how they devalue and depreciate. We have built our own algorithms to try to create a level of transparency that shows, based on historical norms, this is what aircraft should cost. And again, but it's just an opinion. This is just us reacting. At the end of the day, opinion is in the eye of the beholder. If something's worth more to you or less to you, well, then that's your opinion, and that's great. Here's our opinion. Our opinion is that the aircraft market is in a crash state at this point in time. And that's very interesting, because sales normally tick up at the end of the year. We normally see during bonus depreciation events still at 80% here in 2023. We are used to seeing aircraft sell towards the end of the years. People put them into use so that they can depreciate them and have write-offs at the end of the year for the business. We're not seeing that. We are seeing stagnant inventory. We're seeing price decreases on aircraft. This, between the last 2 weeks, more price slashes than we've seen in a while. And to me, this represents a crash. And so my greatest advice to myself at this point, I'm only giving advice to myself, no one else, is I'm going to sit on the sidelines, because this is only just beginning. I still think prices are rich. I still think they need to come down more. All that has happened now is sellers have cracked. They have realized that this is not 2021 or 22. They are not going to get those values for their aircraft anymore. And the day of reckoning on valuations has started. And so as they start to cave more, towards those historical norms, we're going to see further price reduction. So again, my advice to myself, no one else, is hang on, because buying opportunities are on the horizon. Just take a look at this chart. This is used aircraft inventory for sale on controller, up and up and up and up and up. Good news is controller's doing really well on all these paper ads here. So that's the bright side. And yet, if you look at specific inventories of aircraft, you would think, ooh, maybe there are some things selling. You take a look at this line on the Cirrus Vision Jet and you think, oh, wow, since June, they've gone from 39 aircraft down to 27 aircraft. Or you take a look at the Phenom 100, ooh, there was 34 in June and now there's 27. We don't know that anything is selling. I was marking aircraft as sold in these videos when they disappeared from controller. I'm not going to do that anymore, because I'm finding out that these aircraft that appear to have sold pop back up on the market in a cycle or two of these videos. What is happening is, one, buyers are thinking, oh, my broker's not doing a good job, I'll switch brokers. Because what we are seeing is aircraft simply being relisted again under another brokership. Or what we're seeing is the same broker relist the aircraft a month later. So I think brokers are just kind of playing a game, trying to reduce inventory a little bit, maybe even telling their customers, look, there's too many aircraft on the market right now. Let's wait a month and put it on then. And people like seeing, ooh, this is new. This just came on today. And they get all excited when, no, that aircraft might have been on there for 6 months over and over and over again, and they just took it off for a few weeks. So we're not going to mark aircraft sold anymore. We keep seeing them pop back up. Fact is, on Vision Jets, there were so many for sale. Some people might have just decided, you know what, we're just gonna keep flying this. We're not going to sell this right now. We do see HondaJet inventory increasing here. We see Phenom 300 inventory increasing. We see Citation Mustang inventory increasing, and CJ3 plus up to 17 aircraft. Most we have seen ever since we started doing these videos. So for those of you that are looking for jets, again, the opportunity is on the horizon. It's coming up. For now, everybody that wanted a jet and had too much money to spend, well, they bought their jet, and they're going to be having some negative equity very soon in that aircraft. Helicopter inventory looks pretty stagnant. It appears that lots of Robinson R66s have sold. It looks like 9 of those have sold since August. But again, we can't really attest to that. They just disappear off a controller and we can't see them anymore. And again, we have seen R66s come back on. That's why you see the uptick. So did any of these sell? I'm sure a few sold. As I have discussed earlier, in 1929, people still had money. People still bought things. It's just most people didn't. And that's what a crash is. A crash doesn't mean a grinding halt and nothing works. No, things still work. It is just a sea of caramel, of slow porridge. And that is what causes prices to fall dramatically. Looks like you have a reduction in Augusta 109 inventory here. I don't buy it. I think there's probably still plenty of 109s out there. And other than that, everything pretty stagnant. Looking at single engine inventory, wow, Cirrus owners, my gosh. For those of you that want to get rid of your aircraft and sell your aircraft, I feel sorry for you guys right now. 308. Up from 304 just a couple weeks ago, up from 299 just a couple of weeks before that. Can you imagine looking for a Cirrus and having 299 or 308 aircraft to look through? And again, I know that some of these are older and non-turbocharged to turbocharged, and you know, some have some of the new fancier avionics systems inside that do some more automated type events for the pilot. But the fact of the matter is, you still have 308 aircraft to sort through. If you're looking to buy one of these, maybe you divvy up some models, maybe you're down to 200 or 150. How do you make it through so many aircraft? How do you differentiate yourself if you are a seller trying to sell one of these? It's quite difficult right now. I just have to believe the prices of these. Again, my opinion only is that they are going to fall rapidly, and they should. They are too high. That's a huge supply. These aircraft need to come down 30% in order to find 308 buyers, I think, for these things. On the bottom, pretty stagnant, not a whole lot of movement. We're going to do things a little bit differently this week, and I apologize if at the top of this video you're having a little bit difficult time seeing. I'm going to scoot this up just a little bit so that we can maybe change things here. And you know what? We're going to pause the video real quick, and I'm going to zoom out and make sure that you can see the header on these. All right, that's much better. All right, we got the headers on here now. I know you can see them. Apologies for that, but we're going to do things a little differently now. We're going to try to do take a slightly different approach to the valuations here, and we are also going to put them on the screens with the aircraft. Now, since we don't really go through in these videos, we don't focus on specific helicopters or single-engine aircraft. We're going to put this screen up here in the beginning in the future so that you can see valuations in case you're more looking at these videos because you're hunting for the right helicopter or the right single engine aircraft. So on the top is the new selling price, what we think based on our research that the aircraft sold for new. And down here is our humble opinion of what prices should be. Now, how do you read it? We'll show you. All right, we believe the annual depreciation on the Bell 407 is about $40,000, $350 an hour. We believe that after about 65% of its original acquired new price, that it will not depreciate much more unless there are other competitors on the market very similar in year or times, and there's subtle differentiations. We believe that right before 2020, there was a bump in things, and so we're just throwing on an additional 10% onto aircraft to make it 110% to account for inflation. But we're going to show you in this video, some of these aircraft are now being reduced under the 110%. I can't tell you what great news this is because this means that the inflation we all thought was baked in. We all thought everyone was lying to us when they said it was transitionary or transitory. I still believe it is for the most part, but on high value luxury things like aircraft, I believe we could see pre-COVID inflation wiped from these numbers because there is just not enough demand for the supply. Again, I don't think inflation is going to disappear in all markets. So for now, we got 110, some things 115 or 112.5. But again, this is just our opinion. We think that we might actually be able to see below these numbers. Demand adjustment, if historically the aircraft is hard to get rid of or not a lot of people wanted them, we may lower it because it just has lower demand. After an aircraft hits 3,000 hours, not a lot of people want it. We knock off about 7.5% for that. And what that leaves us is with a valuation. And the valuation is from 500 hours to 1,000 hours to 1,500 to 2,000 to 2,500 to 3,000. So our humble opinion is that for a Bell 407, a 2013 with 1,500 hours on it, we believe that is worth just under $2 million. That would be a good buy and a good value with 10% baked in on top of normal historical depreciation schedules off of the original acquisition value of $2.7 million. So in a nutshell, what we're saying, and that remember, usually when something is a 2013, it was produced the year prior, sometimes depending on the time of year it was made. So it could be a 2012, but this is at least 10 years old. And we're going into 2024 here pretty quick. So it's almost 11 years old. And so what we're saying is for an 11-year-old aircraft, it would have depreciated right around 700 grand if it had 1,500 hours on it. And we believe those are really reasonable estimates. So again, that's how you read these charts. But again, this is just our opinion. Don't take too much out of it. Opinions in the eye of the beholder. Let's continue on here and get into some aircraft. So this is what our new screens are going to look like. So while we are going over aircraft, you can take a peek on the left and see where we're getting our numbers and why. And if they don't match up exactly, it's because there's probably a couple of aircraft for sale that are really close in time and value. And maybe our charts say there really shouldn't be much of a difference in price. For example, if you look over here at 2019, look at this. Whether it's got 500 hours or 1,000 hours or 1,500, 2,000, 2,500, it's saying the price is basically the same. You might think that's crazy. But the truth is, if there was only one 2019 aircraft for sale, however many hours it would have on it, we believe it would be worth around that price. Now, the only thing that'll change those prices is, like I said, maybe you have 3 or 4 2019s for sale, and one of them has 500 and one of them has 2,000 hours on it, or 1,500 hours. Well, of course, there's going to be a price difference. What is it? I don't know. That's for you to decide. That's for the seller to decide what they want to let it go for. Maybe there's a 50 grand delta. Maybe there's a 100 grand delta. But at some point, these aircraft appreciate so much that they just get to be about the same price regardless of what they have on them. The depreciation hits that max value depreciation and just kind of sits there. Okay, without further ado, here we go. We got a 2017 Cirrus Vision SF50. This has been on our videos for a bit now, 36% premium. One of these aircraft new, you can see, was right around $1 million. So it's 6 going on 7 years old now, halfway to that 3,000 hour toxic time where not a lot of people are going to want this aircraft. And they're still basically asking what they acquired it new for. And that's why it's got a major premium. Our humble opinion, $1.315 million. The 2019 Cirrus Vision SF50 G2 over there, $2.464 million. Brand new, probably right around 2.4, 2.5 million. So they're basically asking brand new. They want to fly it for 5 years, put 1,000 hours on it, crack up all the leather and interior, take it through a whole bunch of weather and insects and nick up the paint, and then sell it to you for what they did brand new. If it doesn't sound right to you, it doesn't sound right to me either. 46.7% premium, 1.68 million is what we think that aircraft is worth. The 2021 on the bottom left here, SF50 G2 Plus, 3.195 million, probably somewhere around that price new, 260 hours, selling it for probably what they paid for it. What do we think it's worth? Well, it's 3 years old now at this point. It's got 260 hours on it. So 2.45 million and 30.4%. And our numbers should jive with that. If we look over here, 2021, under 500 hours, 2.27 if it had 500. So yeah, it's got less, maybe around 2.45, somewhere around there. We do lower the value by 10% on Vision Jets because there's so many on the market right now. And we don't see a lot of them moving. So that tells us there's not a ton of demand there for these. They're not the most capable of jets. On the bottom right, 2019 Cirrus Vision SF50 G2, 2.95 million, 550 hours. Yeah, we think that's worth 1.75 million at a 73% premium they are selling that aircraft for. Not for us. No, thank you. These prices need to come down. Notice nothing green. We highlight things green when there are some changes for the positive or we've got some good news to tell you. But Vision Jet owners, I think they have supercars that are rare and hot commodities. And so they are not flexing on prices yet from what we can see. Top left, 2019 with 800 hours going for just under 2.7 million. We think it's actually worth about 1.7 million. That's a 58.5% premium for November 678 Sierra Foxtrot. And then for November 311 Charlie Victor, the 2018 in the top right, they want 2.6 or just under. We believe that's a 46.7% premium, and 1.6 million is what we would value that aircraft at. The 2018 Cirrus Vision SF50 in the bottom left, 1.95 million. We believe it's more like around 1.725 million. Not horribly far off, 200 grand. Once you're within a couple hundred grand, you might be able to actually get people to negotiate that difference down. But it was one of the originals with none of the frills. So bear that in mind. 30.4% premium on that aircraft. 2017, 2.05 million. We believe that aircraft is worth more around 1.45 million. 800 hours, 41.4% premium. Into the Mustangs, which we have seen a couple we thought may have sold come back onto the market, which just proves more the stagnancy of the market. Not a whole lot of changes here. That one you see on the top left just came back on. That was one of the ones we thought sold. They left the price the same. They originally reduced it 20 grand months ago, and that's all they've dropped it. We still believe that's a 29.7% premium, $1.6 million for November 510 Kilo Foxtrot. November 1 Romeo Golf, we say every week, this is our favorite bird, but it is over $300,000 out on unpaid engine programs. And that's a big factor. Yeah, you've got a new paint and interior. We'll give you 150 grand for that. You got an NXI. We'll give you another 60, 70, 80, 90 grand for that. So you got 200 grand in additions, but over 300 grand in unpaid engine programs. So that to us makes this $1.8 million aircraft all day long. And look, this thing has been on the market for months. I know all of you Mustang lovers are staring at this thing just like me and salivating over it. And there's a reason you're not pulling the trigger, because it's not worth $2.295 million. And I know many people that have offered $2 million for this, and they have said no. And so the seller is not flexing, and buyers are not wanting to pay any more than $2 million for this. They said, I don't think it's worth $2 million. The 2008 middle left, 17.1% premium, 1.75 is our valuation, just about 300 grand less than their ask for November 280 Alpha Zulu. For November 79 Sierra Golf, the 2007 on the right side, 2.095 million. And we value that at 1.550 million, which makes this quite a rich 35.2% premium. Bottom left, the 2008 November 6 Echo Sierra, almost 3,000 hours on it. Their ask is 1.999 million. We believe the fair market value is around 1.7, and I think that's generous. But hey, look at this. Good news this week. They reduced the aircraft by $256,000. That's almost a 15% reduction. So again, I told you I got good news in this video. I told you this is going to be exciting. We are starting to see the market crack, and we are starting to see sellers cave into this crashed market. It is becoming a buyer's market very slowly. You know, things don't change dramatically in a day, but in a couple of weeks, maybe even at the beginning of the year, things are going to be a lot different. Bottom right, that Mustang in the United Kingdom is still a good deal, but if it doesn't have damage or corrosion or any issues, it's not too far off the mark at 1.795 million. All right, next screen here, the 2010 from Jet Aviva, 25%. We believe that's a $1.9 million aircraft, and their ask is 2.375 million. 2,300 hours. That's a lot of hours. 2011, the Mustang on the right, located in Switzerland, 1.95 million. No programs on 1,650-hour aircraft. That's a $500,000 right there. So 1.45 million is our valuation, 34.5% premium. And take a look at this one, reduced $100,000, which is great. Hey, that's 5% reduction. We'll take it, but they need to keep coming, because in our opinion, that aircraft with 2,400 hours on it, 217 Golf Romeo, you're getting awful close to that 3,000 hours. 1.75 million is what I think you are worth. The 2013 on the right, 2.695 is the ask with 1,200 hours. We believe that is a $2 million aircraft. Bottom left, 2008 Citation Mustang, located in North Carolina from Jetcraft. It's 415 hours on this aircraft. No programs. They're asking 2.75 million for a, what is that, 15-year-old aircraft with no updates, no Garmin NXI, no programs, original paint, original interior, when it didn't even cost that brand new. Like, they must, I don't know. I don't want to get into being insulting here, but to me, this is insulting to buyers. This is basically saying buyers are so irresponsible with their money, they will acquire something that is 15 years old for a brand new price. I really hope that if you have that kind of cash sitting in your account, that you have learned to be responsible by getting it. So no thanks. No thanks. That aircraft needs to come down in price, our opinion. We got a new one here on the right side, a 2007. Don't know why they're using the cockpit view. Hey, it's nice to be different because everybody else is doing a plain profile view, but that does not sell an aircraft. Every Mustang looks like that inside. It's very, very unexciting. November 725, Juliet Bravo, 3,117 hours. Good Lord, no programs. You're buying new engines for this thing. $1.475 million. Wow, not unless you were a lottery winner and have no idea how to spend or save money and literally just want to throw money away. That is our opinion. This is an $800,000 aircraft with engines that if you're going to fly this thing for a while, you're probably going to be putting new engines on it. So no, thank you. But hey, it's a new one. It's a new one we haven't seen yet. That's always exciting. All right, moving into the Citation M2 inventory. That one in the top left-hand corner located in Switzerland, we had thought might have sold a couple weeks ago. Sure enough, it did not. Just was relisted. Still has that $50,000 original reduction. That aircraft has 800 hours on it, and we believe it is worth somewhere around $3.4 million. They're asking 4.2. That's a 23.5% premium. Top right, a 2017 with just under 300 hours on it. Their ask is 4.5. We believe that's a 3.45 or $3.5 million aircraft. And yeah, that's why it's sitting. It's been on the market for a while now as well. 2016 here, November 933 Romeo Golf from Palm Beach Gardens, Florida at Coons. 4.25 million is the ask. We believe that's a 28% premium, and $3.35 million would be our valuation on it. Look at this one on the right. I think we might have left an older aircraft in there. My apologies. That's a typo. Moving on down to the bottom left, 2022 Cessna Citation M2. 88 hours since new. This is a newer one, 11.7% premium. Their ask is 6.2. We believe it's worth 5.55. And that's not so far of a gap, 11%. Maybe you can close that halfway at least, get it down to 5 or 6% premium. And bear in mind, if you look on the left side, we are using a 10% inflationary adjustment. So how much more is it going to come down? Below 5.5? Probably not much more, but it could, depending on how long it sits. Bottom right, hey, here's some more good news. Reduced by $160,000. This is now, I think, the best deal on a M2 that we see in terms of relative value. And that is because this is following a standard historical depreciation curve very closely. 1.8%, our fair market value is around 4.9 million. And if you want to knock off, another 100 grand to get rid of some more inflation, you can do that. There's probably room in there for that, but that is not a terrible deal on that aircraft. All right, 2019 Citation M2 from Jetcraft, and this one's in Boise, Idaho, serial number 1031, 665 hours on it. Look at this. They reduced this one $330,000. That's almost a 10% reduction. And so this is now within the realm of reason. Our fair market value on this is $4.15 million. And, it could come down from there. Again, this is only the beginning, ladies and gentlemen. This is sellers finally realizing they got their aircraft too high. This is priced about where it would be with inflation if we were able to get that down to that 415. But hey, could it go lower? Maybe. Okay, the 2018 in the top right, 4.5 million. That was reduced to $195,000. It's now at a 25% premium at 3.6 million. This is for November 689 Kilo Mike with 630 hours on it. The 2015 M2 in the middle left, 3.85 million for November 990 Foxtrot Victor, 1,040 hours. That's a 14.9% premium. We value it at 3.35 million. And look here, this one's unchanged. It's all green, 6.1% premium. Our fair market value is 4.95 million for this 220-hour 2021 Cessna Citation M2 in Germany. So look at this. I mean, we're starting to get more green on the board, more good colors, positive colors for buyers. And that's what we need to get the market moving again. 2016 Citation M2 from Aston Jet, 3.5 million, 3,500 hours. That's worth less than 2.976 million in our humble opinion, 17.6% premium on the aircraft. This one came back on the market. This is another one we thought might have sold, but here it is, relisted. 610 hours for November 822 Tango Bravo. 6.49 million is the ask. We believe it's worth 5.4 million. That places this thing at a 20.2% premium for the aircraft. On to HondaJets. Nothing really changed. So we're just going to let you stare at the screen for a minute. The numbers haven't changed. The prices are the same from last video to this video. You got an okay deal on the right side at 3.1%. We believe that's worth around 3.25 million. And brand new, those aircraft were around 4.9. They do have 1,700 hours. So look, I mean, we have 112.5% pre-inflation adjustment on these because they are kind of newer, but then we kind of take most of that away with the demand adjustment because not a lot of people want HondaJet. So what we're saying is these are pretty much pre-COVID pricing on HondaJets. Like you want, at least this one on the right side, you want a pre-COVID priced HondaJet. That's a decent one over there at Messinger Jet Sales in Boulder, Colorado. That's November 225 Delta Bravo. Thank you to the sellers and the brokers there for not trying to extort the market. That's a reasonable price. Citation CJ3 Plus inventory recap. Here we go. All right, this guy, 2-team or whatever that, 2-team is registration. This thing has been on the market forever. These folks just must not want to sell this thing. The price has gone down. No, sorry, that's a typo. Not 4.495 million. Sorry, it's 7.95 million. That has not gone down. It's unchanged. It is somewhat a reasonable value if there's no damage history, engine programs all paid up, and there's no corrosion. We believe that aircraft is worth around 7.3 million. So, yeah, you know, we use 112.5% for CJ3 pluses because there weren't too many on the market. They didn't seem to last forever, and people want them, you know. So, but I think we may be reducing that. We may be changing that next few videos down to 110% for pre-2020 inflation adjustments. The top right-hand corner, the 2015, 7.7 million for a 750-hour CJ3 Plus. They just reduced that $300,000. That's great news from Surfer Joe in Fairfield, Iowa. 15.6% is the premium. We believe that aircraft is worth around 6.4 million. Remember, brand new, those things were 8, and that is 8 years old now, going on 9. So it deserves to be at least a couple million down in price. The 2018 here in the bottom left, this came back on the market after being gone for a few weeks, 1,500 hours. That's a fairly reasonable price now. It's listed at 7.98 million. We believe it's worth about 7.4, and that's a 7.8% premium. So good pricing from the seller and the broker, Textron. That's great. More green on the screen. This is what we need to see. Jet Effect in Long Beach. This aircraft has been on the market forever at this point. I think we've been watching this aircraft since the beginning of this year, if I remember correctly. 7.798 million for 2014 with 1,800 hours. Huge premium in our opinion, nearly 30%. We believe it's worth around $6 million bucks. The 2017 CJ3 Plus from Textron, bottom left, 524 hours. We don't know what they want for it, but we believe the aircraft's worth around 6.95 million. We just decided to throw that on to fill in a hole. And we've got a new one listed from last week to this week. This red one, 2017 with 991 hours, 825 Mike Delta, listed at 8.495 million. We believe it's worth around 6.875. And that places it at a 23.6% premium. The aircraft was $8 million bucks to 8.1-ish brand new, we think. So they're trying to sell this for above new after sticking 1,000 hours on it and using it for 7 years. No deal. That's our opinion. No deal. CJ3 Plus, the 2022 with 39 hours on it. They want $11 million for it. And I'm curious if anybody's going to be crazy enough to pay it. 11.5%, 9.54 million on a good day would be our valuation for that aircraft. The 2019 on the right, 8.295 million unchanged. We believe that aircraft is worth around 8 million, and that is a 15.6% premium for that aircraft. Okay, moving into CJ4 territory here. 2015 on the top left here, that's been here for a while. Nothing changed on CJ4. So again, we're going to leave this screen up, let you take a look at it. These things are still asking 20, 30% premiums. They're asking near brand new pricing. I mean, let's take a look at 2015. Brand new, what was that? $9 million. You're asking $865, and they put nearly 2,000 hours on the aircraft. It's going on 9 years old. No deal. No deal. 6.45 million is our humble opinion on the value of that aircraft. 34.1%. You'll find a buyer there. Many buyers even, maybe. All right. Remember, you can always pause, rewind, and check out any portion of our videos if you want. We're kind of speeding through these here. Phenom 300. Look at this. We got some green on the screen. QS Partners in Boulder, Colorado reduced November 454 Tango X-ray with 1,700 hours on it by $400,000 down to 8.295 million. That is fantastic, but it doesn't close the gap enough because we placed the value on that aircraft at $6.75 million. 2014 on the right, 7.95 million out of Summit. They reduced that one 150 grand, and we believe that one's worth 6.1 million. So got a new listing here, this white and red one, the 2011, and that's got 2,600 hours on it. That's a 27.5% premium at 7.395 million. In our opinion, we believe it's worth about 5.8. That's an oldie and with a lot of hours on it. The 2012 here, November 278 Sierra Charlie, ask price is 7.995 million. Brand new. It wasn't much more. We believe that's a $6.5 million aircraft. The 2019 on the bottom left, nothing changed. 11.75 is the ask. We believe it's worth about 8.47. It's a 2019 with 610 hours on it. And last on this page, a 2012 Embraer Phenom 300, 7.49 million is the ask. That's a 28% premium in our opinion. We believe the aircraft is worth 5.85 million. All right, so that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us this week on the Aircraft Global Market Update. The market is starting to cave. Be patient is our opinion to ourselves and our advice to ourselves. This is your snapshot of Controller this week, Friday, October 13, 2023. So you can pause, rewind, go back, watch our other videos, see if there have been any changes on the aircraft that you are watching. Thanks a lot for joining us, and we'll see you in the next video.